Bangkok, 1996. The skyline is a forest of cranes. Glass towers rise like bamboo after rain. Hotels, malls, offices, all growing at once, as if someone hit fast forward on the city. To investors around the world, Asia isn't just rising. It's a miracle. They call it the Asian economic miracle. Double-digit growth. Millions leaving poverty. New airports, highways, ports. From Thailand to Indonesia, Malaysia to South Korea, the future seems unstoppable. But miracles are great at hiding cracks. And this one was hiding an entire fault line. And at the center of it all was a mistake almost no one noticed until it was too late. The addiction. Behind the glowing headlines, there's an addiction spreading. Not to drugs, but to dollars. International banks flood Asia with cheap loans. Take more. Build faster. And the Asian tigers say yes. Governments want growth. Companies want expansion. Developers want skyscrapers and megamalls. Most of these loans? Not in local money, but in US dollars. As long as things stay stable, it feels genius. Borrow cheap, earn big. A perfect plan on paper. To make investors feel safe, many countries peg their currencies to the dollar, basically promising no wild swings, no surprises. It feels like stability. In reality, it's a financial time bomb. They weren't building economies. They were building castles in the air. The cracks appear. By the mid-90s, the cracks show. In Thailand, shiny new towers stand half-empty. Construction slows. Projects that once looked profitable start bleeding cash. But loans keep coming, because the world believes in one narrative. Asia cannot fail. Here's the deadly equation. Too much foreign borrowing. Weak bank supervision. Risky megaprojects. Currency pegs that mask vulnerability. Everything looks fine until confidence disappears. It was capitalism on steroids, and the crash was inevitable. The first domino falls. The first panic begins in Thailand. Speculators bet the Thai baht is overvalued. The government uses billions in reserves defending its peg to the dollar and loses. On July 2nd, 1997, Thailand gives up. The baht is allowed to float. It collapses. Remember those loans in US dollars? The moment the baht crashes, those debts explode in cost. Companies fail overnight. Banks buckle. Investors panic. And then the world asks, if Thailand was this fragile, who's next? Contagion spreads. Investors don't wait. They run. First Thailand, then Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, South Korea. Currencies tumble across the region. Markets crash. Capital vanishes overnight. Debt in dollars plus collapsing currency equals a financial death sentence. Businesses collapse. Unemployment rises. Governments scramble. The Asian miracle turns into the Asian meltdown. It wasn't a crisis. It was a financial virus, and everyone was infected. Indonesia erupts. If Thailand was the spark, Indonesia becomes the explosion. The rupiah loses over 80% of its value. Savings, salaries, and retirement funds are crushed. Food prices soar. Companies shut down. Millions fall back into poverty. When people can't afford basic goods, the crisis turns political. Riots erupt. Shops are looted. Streets burn. After more than 30 years in power, President Suharto resigns. A financial crisis just toppled the government. South Korea's humiliation. Then, the shock reaches South Korea. For years, Korea was seen as unstoppable. Home to Samsung, Hyundai, LG. But many chaebols were drowning in short-term dollar debt. When lenders panic and refuse to renew loans, the Korean economy is pushed to the brink. By late 1997, South Korea is days away from default. The government turns to the IMF for help. To many citizens, this isn't a bailout. It's national humiliation. People line up to donate family gold, wedding rings, bracelets, necklaces, to rebuild reserves. A country literally melts its heritage to survive. The IMF's bitter medicine. When collapse hits, three letters appear: IMF. The IMF demands tough medicine. Cut spending. Raise interest rates. Close failing banks. Open markets. Supporters say it saved entire economies. Critics argue it worsened the pain by tightening the belt during panic. In places like Indonesia, austerity makes things worse. Higher rates crush businesses, subsidies vanish, and poverty accelerates. But not everyone accepts the IMF prescription. Malaysia rebels. In Malaysia, Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad looks at the IMF plan and says, "No." Instead, Malaysia imposes capital controls, essentially freezing some foreign money to prevent mass flight. Western media calls it reckless. Markets rage, but the bleeding slows. Stability returns. And a controversial question remains. Was the IMF right? Or was Malaysia proof there was another path? The aftermath. By 1999, the worst has passed, but the damage is staggering. Millions lose jobs. Businesses vanish. Savings evaporate. Trust collapses. Still, Asia rises from the rubble with new rules and a harder shell. Countries build huge currency reserves, strengthen banks, and create regional safety nets like the Chiang Mai Initiative so they never face another crisis alone. The region that once fell hardest becomes one of the most financially prepared in the world. The real cause. There wasn't a single villain. It was a chain reaction built from dollar-denominated debt, fragile banks, currency pegs, political favoritism, overconfidence. Crises rarely begin when things look bad. They begin when things look too good to question. The echo. The Asian financial crisis was not just economic. It was psychological. A reminder that capital moves faster than governments. Fear spreads faster than facts. And globalization links everyone, even when they don't realize it. Today, as countries again borrow heavily and money once again chases fast growth, the echo of 1997 grows louder. The next time you see skyscrapers rising too fast or hear about economic miracles, remember 1997. Because in global finance, amnesia is the most expensive disease of all. Because the next crisis is already forming, somewhere. Financial crises don't repeat. They rhyme. If you want to keep unmasking the stories behind money, power, and collapse, like, subscribe, and tell us which crisis should be next.